And standing by is the gentleman who is the superintendent of Caddo Parish Schools, Dr. Lamar Goree. Let's see, should it be Dr. L or Dr. G? Hey, Dr. Lamar, how are you this morning?
Hey, I like all those little new names you just gave me there. I'm very good this morning. How are y'all?
A man can't have too many cool nicknames, I'm always thinking.
I wrote down Dr. G, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Let's do it, Erin.
When, because you're a relatively social young man. When you're out and about and you run into Jackie Lansdale, she's across the room, do you nod at each other and smile? Do you wave? Do you turn your head like Erin and I do when it's not a work-related event? What exactly is the relationship, given the current state of affairs between the union and Caddo Parish?
Jackie and I get along great. We text all night during the debate. I mean, Jackie and I are good. Jackie does a phenomenal job of representing the interests of teachers, and of course that is certainly one of the main issues because our teachers are so important for the school system as well. But there are some times where there are some differences in opinion. But Jackie and I get along wonderfully.
Jackie wants teachers to get a pay raise. How likely is that going to happen?
So do I. In fact, if you look at our strategic plan, we have direct language in there about the importance of rewarding our teachers. And we all acknowledge that there are some issues that have been created by the economy that affect our teachers. But I will tell you that the conversation around the pay raise is alive and well in our school system. We've begun the early stages of identifying what will be the funding sources because, it's a lot easier than saying, I want to give a raise. You have to have some money. In this beginning stage of the conversation, though, we think it's very important that we look at what we have because we do agree that our tax base has been very generous with the school system. So we're looking at what we already have to make sure that we are as efficient with it as we can to find all the monies that we can to support a raise.
Given the fact that you just said that you are in favor, that you'd love to give the teachers a raise, and we have to find the funding sources instinctually, what are those funding sources? Any thoughts?
I tell you, what you're looking at is, again, you're looking at every, and let me be clear. If you talk to anyone on my executive staff, we meet twice a month. Every meeting, a part of that meeting is devoted to this very conversation. Our strategic plan drives what we do as a school district, and that's a priority that has been set by this school board. So when I talk about funding sources, I'm talking about looking at the coffers. What are we currently spending money on? How can we be more efficient? We're in the beginning stages of looking at our staffing and how we're staffing because pay raises generally come from people because it's depending on how many people you're paying. That's what 85% of our money is spent on. So we're looking at all of those ratios to determine if we are as efficient as we can be. Let's look at things even as small as what we're spending, making sure that there's no redundancies in instructional programs. That's the conversation that we're having now. When you look at insurance and some of the relativities of that, you look at, are we doing the very best job of providing opportunities and passing more money on to the employee versus having what many describe as Cadillac plans with deductions and copay.
KTBS has a report that Jackie is quoted as saying she would like the public to vote on a pay increase for teachers. What that says to me as a member of the public, a vote on a new tax.
Right.
Do you interpret it that way too?
Absolutely, I do. The school system is not in favor of moving forward with a new tax at this time. Caddo Parish Schools, we thank our citizens for the renewals that we've had successfully renewed last year, and we feel that at this time we must look at what we have. Now, that's not to say that there won't come a time where the community will decide that we've done the best we can. The only way to give teachers a raise is through new tax. But we as a system and as a board, the board simply does not see that as the case now. And I would have to agree it's not time for a new tax.
She also told us, Jackie Lansdale told us a week or so ago, that this health insurance premium increase was kind of like, or almost the last straw, that we keep having to pay more and we're not getting a pay raise. And she said, and I'm quoting her now, I said, would you rule out a walkout, a teacher walkout? She said, I won't rule out anything. Your reaction to that?
I think that the teachers that Jackie represents, as well as Jackie, will always do what's best for children. And I assure you, Jackie Lansdale is a friend, and she is not going to allow teachers to walk out of school. She's not gonna put her name on that. Jackie cares about children too much for that. But what I will tell you, though, is that when you look at our insurance increases, this is the smallest increase that we have seen in over 20 years in Caddo Parish schools. The average increase was about $10 per person. Very different from from many other industries, I'll say.
Oh, yeah.
Our co-pays and deductibles remain the same. This is a conversation that's not only happening in Caddo Parish schools, but it's happening across the country in regards to health insurance and the affordability thereof it. But again, it is most people. Most people, I know people who work in our transportation department that I talk to every day who simply do it not for the income, but because of the benefits. So I do think that Caddo Parish Public Schools, most people, if you look at that and you compare it to what's out there on the open market as far as the Affordable Care Act, you're going to say we have a very healthy health insurance plan.